So I've been asked what sorts of things I would personally want to see for the next expansion, or what would make me incredibly super excited and giddy. What would make me have my crying at a Star Wars trailer moment? And especially because the showcase is going to be just in a few hours of this video getting out, because I am literally recording it right now. What would really do that for me? What in a few hours would I want to see? I'm going to be honest, if you want me to jump into the punchline, the main thing that I'm looking forward to is the new jobs. The class that you play is the lens in which you experience the world, which is something that I've said many times in the past and that I'm going to continue to say until I'm probably blue in the face. People are going to get sick of it real soon, I'm sure. But, wait. Most are probably wondering, that's it? That's all I'm looking forward to from the announcement in the next expansion? Because I'm pretty sure that I have gained the exact same response from many of you glorious, elegant people who are viewing this video right now, as I do from friends that ask me, or people on Discord that are asking me just like, what is this vanilla, boring answer? But let me try and answer the question as directly as I can in a different way. What sorts of things I'd want to see for the next expansion, and what would really give me my crying at a Star Wars trailer moment? Just more of what we have now. More of this current direction. There. That's it. That's my answer, and I really mean it. Anyhow, that's my thoughts, and as always, if you'd like to help support me and my content, I would... I cannot honestly express how much it truly means to me if you lobbed a Rocky Road ice cream at that like button and cat daddied that subscribe button. I'm just kidding. I'm not ending the video here. I actually, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. I actually do feel like I need to explain myself here. Because I've actually had more people than I truly deserve ask me to, like, tell them my thoughts and what I want for 6.0. Then I answer them, which is what I gave above, and they're like, huh? What? Girl, please tell the truth. And I tell them what I'm going to tell you now. It might not be the flashiest answer, and it's certainly not going to be the one that gets the most views, or getting people turning stunts and people's jaw hitting the floor from the scandals. But it's the honest truth of how I feel. At this pace, I'm not going to be able to get a like to save my life, let alone a subscribe. I'm literally gonna have people come into my comments section saying if hrothgars had flavors, then this other one, as in not me, would be Rocky Road. This other one would be chocolate. This other one strawberry, and then this coal one, me. Oh, that one is vanilla. Vanilla, I tell you. Literally the most boring vanilla Hrothgar of the pack. But for me, I am genuinely really happy with the way Final Fantasy XIV is right now, and the direction that the game is moving in is actually one that I am extremely excited about. And I mean that very genuinely. While, yes, people may, more like will say I'm a Final Fantasy XIV YouTuber, and say that I'm just some kind of shill for saying this, I really mean this in the most earnest way possible. One thing that I don't think I say nearly enough on this channel is that I have been playing games for literally decades at this point, and I really grew up on them. They have really been a part of my bread and butter routine since I was genuinely like 3 or 4 years old with a Sega Genesis console gnawing a controller. I've played nearly every MMORPG that has came out in the past few years, such as... Sure, let's list out a few. Like Terra Online with its action-style combat, trying to get rid of the mouse and keyboard at the time was a huge controversial thing, where I was playing a mystic and having my balls drop to the floor. Lineage 2, where I was a summoner with a ridiculous cat following me. Ion Online, where I played Chanter with its massive array of buffs, or Spirit Master with its elemental pets and massive crowd control that made me a horror in PvP. My Guild Wars 2 Char Necromancer was awesome with my little army of baddies. Elder Scroll Online, where I have been trying to do a stamina ward and healer, and yes, I am that abomination if you understand what I said there. It's very controversial, but it's good, it's fun. Or Cabal Online, I was like a Force Archer that I really loved, its ranged pew pew style and dual gun Black Betty slinging style. Instantly, that actually brings to my mind the Chua Spell Slinger from Wildstar that I tried to do a healer build on, and I really liked that playstyle and aesthetic for my healer. But the list just goes on and on and on, like Perfect World Online, like I was playing like an archer there, Firefall, RIP, Conquer 2.0, Destiny 2, Blade and Soul, and so many more. But recently mainstays have been Overwatch, Warframe, Borderlands 3, and World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft in particular sticks out because I have played it a decent bit recently. I really came on with the Shadowlands expansion after taking a massive break since like, oh my god, like 2005, 2006, like it has been a long time. And having drawn, I have honestly legitimately drawn a lot of inspiration from learning it and playing it and receiving mentorship of my own there from some of the biggest content creators in that very community, which to say the least has been incredibly humbling. I've honestly had the privilege of being able to clear all of the heroic raids in that game, and of running plus 11 keys as I've been learning recently across my Mistweaver Monk, my Druid, my Holy Paladin, and my Beastmaster Hunter. Now, people are probably wondering after that 2-minute or whatever blurb why I even said it. Like, why? What's the point in saying such a thing, right? And really, my point is that in the first place, I created this YouTube channel at my lowest point, if I'm being super blunt. It was my Hail Mary, throw it all out there and do whatever you can. Without rehashing a very, very intensely depressing story, best saved for later in a very different video, this community and game was a mainstay in my life since like the 1.0 days. Like, and 1.0 was rough. Anyone who was back then knows nightmare fuel, right? And for lack of a better way of really kind of like expressing it or saying it, the game kind of saved my life. It was that's such a dramatic way of saying it, but yeah. So I decided during my darkest hour really to just go into YouTube and make stuff and hopefully raise the spirits and uplift the community that really helped me so much. I'm likewise not oblivious, trust me. I am so humbled by it every day, every single day, that getting nearly 6,000 subscribers in a year from literally being invisible, isolated, I had no FC. In fact, I just wasn't a part of the raid team, and so the other FC just didn't, it wasn't even that they were mean to me, my last one before it, but they just didn't have time for me. I was just like, it was so isolating, it was, yeah. But fact is, 6k subscribers in a year from literally being invisible and isolated and silenced means that the community really has in turn uplifted me. And trust me, I mean it from like the depths of my heart and soul when I say I am forever grateful and forever humbled by everyone's support. And while I jest about cat daddying that subscribe button and stuff, I am still blown away at the love, kindness, and compassion that I experience here on a daily basis. But let's tie it back. Overall, my point that I hope to make, and that I hope I conveyed to make clear, is that I love Final Fantasy XIV for what it is. I love this community for what it is, and the emphasis in both of those statements is for what it is. I didn't choose to start a YouTube channel for any other reason than my love of this game and the incredible people that play it and this incredibly engaged development team that honestly is on its whole other level, like Yoshi P and all of the developers on the Final Fantasy XIV teaming, the community managers. Wow. Just a whole different level. And that is honestly something that I cannot say for many games. In fact, there's a reason why Final Fantasy XIV is what I even chose to make a channel on, such as World of Warcraft. And while I play it, and I do appreciate many of its strengths, like I do enjoy the game, I'm not trying to bash on it, please don't think I'm bashing on it, I certainly need to be honest, I don't even feel a quarter as excited for its future as I do feel like Final Fantasy XIV's. For reasons I may do a video someday on, but honestly, I'm so busy lately and I'm more focused on 14 that who knows. Or like even the list of games, that endless list of games that I was saying at the start, a lot of those have been shut down for literally years now. And such as I will never be able to log onto my Spellslinger Chua ever, ever again at this point, and I will never be able to zip around in Firefall. Those are gone. But, okay, let's reel it way back now. Let's get more tangible with Final Fantasy XIV. Recently, we have had patch 5.45 release that brought in a brand new type of content, which is the Shrine of the Queen Savage, or de l'Eveillon. I butcher it, so I'm just trying to butcher it even more so people don't make fun of my pronunciation. But let's not forget that we also have Savage raids, Unreal Trials, Extreme Trials, Alliance raids, and the occasional Ultimate raid. Although I know and I do wish that there was more of that, because I do think that the Ultimate raid community does really love them, and that it'd be sweet to see more. But we have other systems in this game that really push it above that. We have housing, which is one of the most richly fleshed out systems for housing in any game, with very, very few beating it. Modeling with G-pose, glamours of a massive variety of styles, like I'm comparing World of Warcraft's transmog, which literally asmongold holds transmog competitions that get like hundreds of thousands of views, if not way more. Like, and our system has, and I've played World of Warcraft now for months, our system just has such a variety and such styles that it's like, well, yeah, of course G-pose and modeling is huge in 14, it's crazy. Not to mention our in-depth crafting gathering system. We also have so many other activities like hunts, maps, open world missions, dynamic world altering events like Ishgard Restoration, or the Gold Saucer with its various events, PvP, and even if you don't do PvP, it is totally a huge thing in this game with so many different maps and playstyles that you can go for. It's huge. We also have like beast tribes and like a massively rich lore that truly gives many, if not most, AAA games main storyline a shake for their money, especially with Shadowbringers that, in my honest opinion, made my jaw drop. And just to iterate, I want to say, it made my jaw drop out of genuine surprise and love rather than some disingenuous shill comment, because even if you keep track of like my total YouTube history, like, I started this channel, like, way after Shadowbringers. Like, I got through the story, I leveled everything to 80. Like, I did all that way before I made this channel. So, when I say I can't think of anything brand new for the expansion, I'd be head over heels for it, and I really mean it. Just more of this, more of this excitement, this variety of content, this level of depth, and various other systems that are so often trivialized and non-existent in other games like crafting or housing. Actually, to circle back, I do want to say, like, this channel has existed for a few years, obviously, but I only started, like, making Final Fantasy XIV content, like, roughly a year ago. So, I mean, just before people clock that, and they're just like, oh, you made, like, what was the game? Anthem content, like, ages ago. I made, like, 2 or 3 videos on it, like, nothing much, and it was just, like, that game, definitely a different thing. But sorry, I just wanted to say that before someone's like, this channel uploaded Anthem content in 2019. It had, like, bare bones, very... Anyhow, I am getting off the point. I am going to reel it back. But in terms of Final Fantasy XIV, all I want is more of this. The only thing that I can think of is more small group content like 4-player dungeons. But that is a separate video that has been many months in the works and a lot of collaboration with World of Warcraft creators. Aside from that, I am honestly just genuinely happy with the direction things are going. And see, if I'm going to be super honest, okay, let's be super honest. I have a legacy and a history of complaining about games when there are issues, and then if I saw massive glaring issues, I'd be the first to say, expansion so-and-so must change these 5 things or I will quit the game forever. And likewise with my list of games that I said above, and with what I'm playing now, you know that's true. I actually did quit those games. Like Terra, I obviously had to quit that. Wildstar, I love my Spellslinger Chew, but I did quit that. Lineage 2, I obviously quit that. Ion quit, like, right now my roster is Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, Warframe. Yeah, those are my big ones that I'm playing right now. All those other ones, when I said I quit, I quit. But one thing I do want to say is, like, I even said the same for Final Fantasy XIV when the servers finally shut off for 1.0. I was just like, wow. All of these things, and I had like a host of issues, which obviously I never was like making YouTube videos like, I need this and that changed. Like, when 1.0 was around, like, it was like a personal list in my head, like things that I needed to see changed for me to come back in 2.0. So no, Final Fantasy XIV is far from immune from my incessant whining. You can even ask Nime all about it. It never stops, and everyone's just like, who's Nime? And it's actually pronounced Name It. He's gonna kill me. But he's from my Red Mage little primer video. You can ask him all about my incessant whining. It never stops. But, like, I have been saying that line, though, expansion so-and-so must change these 5 things or I will quit the game forever, for Overwatch 2. And they aren't just fake words or fleeting feelings, as I said before. Like, all those games that I listed above, I had to have quit at some point. And I've strongly felt that way and about Overwatch, and have had genuinely no desire to whip out my already strained, which is like the understatement of the millennium, more like financially devastated wallet. But my already strained wallet due to 2020 devastation that is now devastating my 2021 wallet for it. And no sight of recovery, no light of recovery anywhere in sight. But especially not gonna whip out that wallet for a game with issues that really drive me insane like Overwatch. Sorry, I know that the BlizzCon thing's up in a few weeks, but I'm like, my hype level is so low right now. But for Overwatch, I think that just bring up one of my issues, which I think is a very serious problem that I don't think enough people talk about at all, is that their strategy for balancing, in my opinion, from everything I've observed over the past many years of playing it, has been balancing the game for 98% of the player base is balanced around the bleeding edge top 500 or so players that can do things that even diamond players like myself can never even dream of doing, leading to terrible balancing decisions for the majority of the player base. Even though those balancing decisions might make sense for the top 500 players, they make absolutely no sense for anything below diamond, or in diamond even. Like in diamond, like I've seen the balancing decisions and I'm like, even in diamond, this just does not make sense. And while people might not like me saying it, it does absolutely involve Brigitte. Recently, with her nothing short of kind of hilarious and obscene 25 HP buff, only to revert the 25 HP buff. Or Baptiste, my other support main, when you pull up the statistical website overbuff, at least at the time of my recording right now, because remember, like, they do balance passes, and so if you see this video in like 2 or 3 months from now, it's very likely going to be changed. But right now, when I'm pulling up Overbuff, they are both currently sitting at like the 2nd and 3rd lowest win rate in the entire support category. The only thing lower than them is Moira, who has her own host of issues, but we're talking about 2nd and 3rd lowest win rate. And also, like, Brigitte's pick rate is really bad, like really low, so even for the people that main her, it's just not working. And even Baptiste is far lower, like if you look at their options of Ana or Zenyatta or even Mercy, where Mercy herself is a prime example of where the developers absolutely brutally annihilated her in the past in the supposed name of balance, which let me have like my 15-second spiel here. Which is ironic because, in spite of Mercy being considering, at release, Mercy was considered very weak and a throw pick. Especially because Ana and Lucio was the meta, and Ana Lucio was the de facto go-to comp, and Mercy was considered very weak, where Reaper Beyblades of Doom that moved super fast, and unstoppable Reinhardt's moving at the speed of a Ferrari, slamming your entire team under his sumo-sized glutes, and farting all over your hopes and dreams of getting out of bronze, never being worthy of love. Like, when it's that big of a dude like Reinhardt, you know that those farts are nothing short of complete, most thunderous metal devastations imaginable. Good luck getting out of bronze. But catching myself there before I go through that hole, that's how bad the Overwatch meta was, and that's why the balance pass was like, what did you do? But let's cycle back. In my point, it's that the, in my opinion, questionable balancing decisions that has slammed so many characters that have been left in the dirt over it, that my opinion forged over years of complaining, that it has become very, 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 very hard to take that game seriously. And I say that as someone who is a diamond ranked support main and also diamond in open queue. And it's hard for me to take it seriously. Because let's say I took it super duper seriously. Let's say I spent 30 minutes a day practicing aim with Baptiste and improving my hit scan and recoil handling. Which I did do. But now suddenly there is a bounce pass that makes him incredibly weak and considered a throw pick. The player base picks up on that, and now all of a sudden I am yelled at over voice comms that I am a thrower in quick play match. A quick play match by a silver DPS, which I'm not trying to rank shame. But this silver DPS, respectfully, is telling me that my consistently diamond BAP and Brig for literally years of being diamond in support and now open queue is not good enough to heal a game. And through them saying in match chat to report me and lance me with reports at the end of the game. Son. But now hold the phone one moment. How in the name of flying pig monkeys did we get from Overwatch to Final Fantasy XIV? Because I really want to showcase an example of things I didn't like, that I don't like, and I don't feel anywhere near, nothing even close to that level of genuine frustration with 14. There's things that maybe I'd like improvements on, but I don't feel like that level of frustration that I just showcased there. Like, I don't at all. But let's cycle back to what I want. As I said earlier on, just more of this direction. This momentum of new content and the developers trying different styles of content, like pushing on their experiments and trying new tinkering changes to content like Eureka, turning that Eureka thing that was the diadem thing into the bozjan Southern Front. Iterating over an idea from the diadem to Eureka to bozjan Southern Front, it's crazy, and how it changed up and kept it fresh and changed, but like also dramatically improving it. Like the state of the bozjan Southern Front is nothing like diadem. It's so different. Like I should say, like, I get it. The bozjan Southern Front is not for everyone, but I know me and many other people who like genuinely disliked diadem. Like, I was in that boat where I'm like, I never want to step foot in diadem at all. Like, if someone was like, oh, it's diadem again, I'd be like, no. I literally couldn't. This is another reason why, like, people are just like, oh, you're just making content because you're the YouTube shield. No. If diadem came back, baby, there would be no videos on that topic. I do not in any way want to go back into diadem, which I think honestly Yoshi P and the development team would agree with me. It's just like Yoshi P in that one interview when asked about like classic Final Fantasy XIV servers said nightmare, and that was 1.0 days. So that's me with diadem. It's like, no, there would be no videos, none. Absolutely none. Oh god. But anyhow, for me, I like the fact that they didn't like give up on the idea, and that they experimented and tinkered with it, and that I really do love the bozjan Southern Front. I think that it's new and fresh, and oh wow. Or let's talk about the Shrine of the Queen, or the Delubrium Rajane that I keep butchering. Like, oh my god, when I tell you that this is fun stuff, I mean it. And I'm talking to someone who has now cleared all of World of Warcraft's new heroic raids up to Sire Denathrius, where, in complete disclosure, I'm sitting out of Prague for now because, to be honest, man, dude, my life is just... I was just gonna leave my 1 month hiatus of nightmares for a different video. Yeah, dude. That's all I'm gonna leave it at that. But doing heroic clears of all the raids up to Sire Denathrius, all I can say is, Wow, I really feel like the Delirium Regine normal even the normal has its tricks up its sleeve, and it feels so alarmingly similar. Like I'm getting the same kind of vibes, and I'm living for that. I think that it's so cool. But let me like add a disclaimer. Like I'm not trying to get into some big comparison of which is better or whatever, because if I'm honest, I don't like the arguments like that. I don't feel like arguments like that can be productive most of the time. It's like growing up, like in like elementary school or whatever, with like the Xbox versus the PlayStation like arguments, or the Apple iPhone versus Android. Honestly, enjoy what you enjoy, and if you enjoy both like me, then seriously, all the power to you. Like, have fun. That's the main thing at the end of the day. So I'm not trying to do some comparison thing. But speaking as someone that went through the heroic WoW raid deep into Castle Nathras, specifically on both my Beast Mastery Hunter and Balanced Druid, it felt really similar. Difficult fights requiring pretty solid mechanical grasp, constantly fight after fight in a like long stretched out dungeon, which is very different from our instant savage content that we have. Like Shiva, we didn't need to like battle through an entire dungeon to get to her with all these previous bosses. I mean, we needed to like queue in sequence, but I digress. But for me, honestly, I was feeling the type of way as I do in this video, as I'm saying, before patch 5.45 came out, on me just liking this current direction, because, how to say it, I just want the Final Fantasy XIV developers to keep on going this way, but wow, honestly, wow, when it comes to like the Delirium Regine, which I know is new content, so maybe like it's shiny and new, and maybe that's why I'm liking it so much, but going through it a few times, like, I am really genuinely impressed. And I really do feel like this dev team has that wow factor. That wow factor that, honestly, I can tell you, I have played so many games, and no, you do not get me saying that all the time, but even on normal mode, this fight required attention. It required you to be going here and there and trying this and doing that. Like, I genuinely cannot wait until I hit 700k metal and dive into Savage. And I mean, people are going to clock me on my lack of any desire to prog Savage, real life issues, but now, like, man oh man, for the first time in months, seeing this Delirium content has me hyped to try some Savage. If I'm unable to get out of bed in December to all the fire in February, like, that's all I can say, dude. But yeah, there is the answer to that question, and I hope that I was able to explain myself and convey how I feel well enough, because I actually have had more people than I honestly probably do deserve ask me what my thoughts are and what I want for 6.0, and then I answer them and they're like, huh? What? Dude, tell me the truth. And you know what? I'm gonna say what I said before. I tell them that it's not going to be the flashiest answer. It's not going to be the one that gets the most views. It's not going to be the one turning stunts, turning heads, making people's jaws drop to like the floor from the scandals. But it is, on the other hand, the honest truth of how I feel, and I'm not about to just do the stunts and be like, oh, I'm gonna cancel all of these people just so that I can get some YouTube views. Like, that's not how I work. That's never how I've operated on this channel. Like, I'm genuinely happy with things, and many people are gonna be like, how vanilla. For me, I accept it. I embrace it. I am literally the most vanilla Hrothgar. People are going to ask people are gonna be up in here asking for Rocky Road, like just banging on the YouTube channel door, being like, hey, I asked for Rocky Road ice cream and chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream and like tiramisu. Meanwhile, I'm just like, yo, what's up? I'm boring AF. Vanilla. Anyhow, that is my thoughts, and as always, if you want to help support me in my content, I cannot say, like, I truly mean it. Like, I cannot say how much all the support really means to me, and it would be excellent if you lobbed a Rocky Road ice cream at that like button and cat daddy that subscribe button. Oh god, I'm still tired from last night. Let's see if I can make it through today. Catch y'all later. Take care, and happy announcement showcase.